You ever feel you just want to completely get away from the world? You want to isolate, you want to be by yourself. But me and you both know there's some danger in that. Let's talk today. Welcome to the Black Man Black Health Podcast. I'm Drew Koss, and we're going to talk about what really happens in isolation spiritually. Now, usually we hear slogans and quotes like separation means isolation, the famous one, moving in silence, things like that. I want to show you what is really happening spiritually that could be hindering your growth. It could also be separating you further from God. The enemy's biggest goal is to get us first to not have a relationship with God. Second, to not get us to have a relationship that's healthy with ourselves. And thirdly, for us not to have a healthy relationship with each other. If he has his way, he would do it probably in that order. If he separates you from God, you're pretty much done. If you have God and he separates you from, when I say yourself, I'm not talking about like a higher self. I'm talking more so about who God has designed and fashioned you to be. Then he knows you're not going to fulfill the assignment that God has put on your life or the solutions God has put inside of you. Thirdly, he does not want community at all. So if we think about that, we automatically see he wants to destroy marriages. He wants to destroy communities. We think he wants to destroy churches as in buildings. No, more so he wants to destroy communities because communities build you up spiritually, physically, and mentally if it's done right. So how does he do this? And it makes sense, but it's wrong. The Bible talks about in John 10 that the thief comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. If those are his plans, his schemes, his strategies, he's been around so long that he's going to win some of the battles. Now, what does that look like when it comes to isolation, Drew? You're probably asking. Usually, I know as a man, when you get mad, angry, upset, you either shut down, and usually you go and you shut out. You shut everybody out. You shut down. Nobody can probably talk to you. You're done. That is cool sometimes when you're processing, but remember, the enemy's goal is to separate us from God, from people, and our real selves. So you start to realize, hey, I live in isolation. I live in this place mentally and spiritually, sometimes physically, where I don't have any connection with anybody. Someone said this before, and it was because they had gotten hurt. We've all been church hurt. There's no such thing as church hurt. It's more so you got hurt in a building by people who you felt should not hurt you, which, and if we're being honest, if you have any form of relationship with anybody on earth, you're going to get hurt in the relationship. That's because people are flawed. People are human. And the person said, I had put it on my Facebook. I put something about a minister, or people who are just literally like saying all the craziest things about this minister. And the lady said in the post, she responded, she said, that's why I just have my relationship with God. I don't need the church. I could understand how she felt. I could understand logically why that makes sense. But spiritually, remember, the enemy's goal is to separate you from God, your real self, and from other people. He does not want you to be in a community. So he's winning right now. In Acts, it talks about how they broke bread with each other. They prayed with each other. They shared with each other. And that's how things grew. Nowadays, we kind of glorify isolation when we don't realize it's a trauma response. We don't realize that amount of trauma is making us separate from people who are assigned to be helping us. And it also makes us separate where we can't even share the gifts that God has given us. Isolation should not be a badge of honor. Isolation should not be the thing that you say, hey, I'm just going to lean on myself because it's me, myself, and I. Those are words that the enemy will use to help you breed an environment of pride, an environment of pushing God away, and an environment of pushing people away. How do I know that? I've done this. I've seen it in scripture multiple times. Isolation does not mean that you are above people, and it also doesn't mean that you're doing the will of God. I say that for men a lot because we often isolate when we're not understood. When someone's not understanding us and someone's not getting us, we usually isolate. And I want to help you realize if you can fight back on isolating and you can lean into, hey, this is uncomfortable, but I'm going to lean more into aiming to connect with another brother, a therapist, a minister, a friend, something. I'm going to lean into another human being versus maybe a vice, maybe just not fitness, or maybe nothing at all. It's hard. It is hard, but it's possible. So I want to let you know if you're thinking about, even if you're thinking about with this in the context of marriage, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, the enemy's goal is always to tear us apart. His goal is to always make us isolate. And if he can use our trauma to play on us, he will do that. If he will use trauma of things that happened in your past that made you feel you can't trust people, you don't want to be bothered, you're better off doing it by yourself, he will use that so much that you won't even think it's him. He's deceiving. He's smart. But I want to encourage you, connect with some more humans as much as you can. Connect with humans. Ask God to give you trusted friends who you don't have to worry if they have your back or not. And he'll do that. Sometimes the friends won't immediately look like the people who you think they should be, but they'll be the people who are right for you. Take that, use it up, drop it in the comments. What questions do you have? Or are you completely against what I said? I'm cool with dialogue as well. Be great, guys. I'm out of here.